Hi, today we're going to look at the discourse structure of telephone conversations, and we're going to look at it from a language perspective, and we're going to look at Emanuel Schlegloff's research. He did research on the patterns that speakers use when communicating through the telephone. He put together a little sequence that he said that people use when they open a telephone conversation. And this is the opening sequence. So it goes something like this. He said the routine starts off with summons and answers. This opens a channel of communication. It's a bit like hi or hello. It just opens it. It's just what starts off the conversation. The first one or two terms. It's the summons and the answers. It could be like Phil, yeah, that's your summons and answers. But that could also be your identification and recognition. Because after that, he said we have the identification and recognition. And he said this is a necessary tool for non face to face communication because you have to know who you're talking to. So it'll be, hi, it's Jane speaking. Hi, it's Jack speaking. Okay, that would be your summons, answers, and your identification. Identification recognition is more, you see who the characters are. That's how you identify in a transcript. You realize who the characters are. Then we move on to the greeting sequence. Now this initiates shared space. So it's like, so quite a nice morning. Yeah, and there's a particular thing you say when you pick up the phone that will be your greeting sequence. You doing all right or something like that, and it initiates a shared space between the two speakers. And the last step he said in the routine of opening a phone conversation was the how are you sequence. This strengthens and develops the shared space. So this could include how are you, I'm all right, what about yourself, oh you must be tired from last night. And he said all of this talk, I'm doing all right. Before you get to the hardcore, the center of why you call to gossip, you call to pass on information, you call to find out something. Before you actually get to the hard core of the conversation, you have all of this strengthening, developing shared space, and you have all of this, what we would call small talk. In language, we call it phatic talk. Now, there is a particular purpose for phatic talk, and anthropologists have said the particular purpose for phatic talk is to show that you're not a dangerous character and you're here with peace and friends. Just like if another animal comes to the other one gets defensive rather than being just defensive, trying to create a shared space to say, we can have this conversation just to show you're a safe person. This is when you look at humans as an animal, and that's the main purpose of phatic talk. He said that it is a routine, summons, answer, identification, recognition, greeting sequence, and how are you sequence. But he said it's not mundane, it's not formulaic, it's creative. He said the creative nature of the discourse depends on variables. These variables make every conversation's opening different. And these variables are three crucial ones. The three main ones are the speaker relationship. So, even a small difference like a mother and daughter's phone conversation to a mother and son's conversation will be very different, even though it's a small difference. So, speaker relationship is very important. The context in which you guys are speaking, or that will also, so are you speaking from two different countries? Are you in the same shop but lost? Are you in like two, one's in a motorway, one's at home? Like, where are these speaking? What's the context? Do they both know the person they're talking about? Are they talking about a birthday party? What are they talking about also? But the context is important. And the purpose of the convo. One of them must have a purpose for speaking to the other, otherwise they wouldn't phone them or something. I mean, I guess you could just phone for a hi, hello, but then that's your purpose. The how are you is your purpose. You could phone to say sorry, to say congrats, any of these. These are the purpose of the conversation. Now, I think that Schlegloff's a sequence he's come up with, the opening sequence, is quite clever, but I feel it's quite dated because now we are in the 21st century. Phones are not the same. We have mobile phones. on every phone now, there is a possible way of putting caller ID. Caller ID changes things because now the identification and recognition, do you need it? If you see on your phone, oh, Tim's calling me, do we actually need the identification? Do we need to say, hi, is this Tim? Or, do we actually need it? Is it still necessary? I don't think so. And initiating shared space and strengthening shared space, I think sometimes, not in every conversation, we don't see all the features. Sometimes they don't have features and sometimes they do. And I think that also kind of makes his routine a bit more weaker. So that's Emanuel Schlegloff for you.